Hello family, welcome to another edition of Cooking with Tamasha. Today we are going to be making vegan beer battered fish sticks and a hash with potatoes, bell peppers, onions, and mushrooms. And I'm going to serve it probably with a salad, maybe the garlic bread. You know I love the garlic bread. Anyway, before we get started, I want to ask you guys, if you like these videos, to please like it, subscribe to my channel, and share. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm glad that I'm able to do this. I want to keep on doing it. So, again, like, subscribe, and share. So, here I am. So I want to go ahead and start this video. So what we are going to be doing is making the mock fish first, and then we're going to stick it in the freezer. And we're going to make the potato hash, and then we are going to make the batter, the beer batter for the fish, and go ahead and fry that up. So what I have here is 1 can of hearts of palm cut up into large chunks, 1/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs. I have about 2 to 3 tablespoons of chopped up seaweed. You could take a nori sheet and crumble it if you want to. I just put some seaweed flakes in my one of my little food choppers and chopped it up and made it like really small. I have about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of vegan Worcestershire sauce, and here I have Old Bay, about a teaspoon each of Old Bay, sea salt, and black pepper. Okay, so we are going to get started, and what I'm going to do is add all of those ingredients to my food processor. Okay, so I'm going to take the hearts of palm, the panko crumbs, the seasonings, salt, pepper, Old Bay, the seaweed, and the vegan Worcestershire sauce, which I made myself, or you can buy it, either one. So I'm going to take my food processor and pulse this until it gets the consistency of what fish would be like. So you don't want to puree it. You don't want it to be too big because you want it to hold together. So I'm just going to pulse this. Okay, let me scrape down the sides. Okay, so I scrape down the sides and give it one more pull. Okay, too. I don't know why this automatic focus is so terrible. Anyway, so now you have your fish stick mixture. Again, using the word mixture. My goodness. So, okay, what I'm going to do now is take the mixture, and I am going to form it into, see, It's pretty moldable. So I am going to fold it, or mold it rather, into fish stick size chunks. I'm going to try to get it into a little square.
I'm still working on the house and boat. Ice cream.
Like that. And I'm going to lay it on my parchment paper. Okay. Another one.
I can see us happily married one day. With 2, maybe 3 kids. In a 5-bedroom house. The fireplace we'll never use. And a chocolate Labrador named Nordstrom.
Alright.
I can't even think about marriage.
I'm down. Neither am I. Tells me a little bit here. Giving us enough.
Okay, I'm going to do this until I have them all done. Okay, we are back, and I got 8 fish sticks out of my mix. So now what I'm going to do is pop this in the freezer really quick. You can put it in the refrigerator, but it'll take about an hour for them to firm up in the refrigerator to the consistency that you want. So I am going the quick route, and I am just going to pop these on my cookie sheet lined with parchment paper into the freezer for a bit while I work on the potatoes. Alright, so now for the potatoes, what I have is 4 cups of cubed potatoes. It was about 4 or 5 small potatoes. I have about a quarter of a yellow green pepper, a quarter of a yellow pepper, a quarter of a green pepper, and a quarter of a red pepper. And then I have about a half of an onion sliced up really thin, or julienne really thin. I also have about 2 cups of mushrooms. These are baby portobellos washed and sliced. And then for my seasoning, I have about a tablespoon of garlic powder, about a tablespoon of this really nifty spice that I found. It is actually sea salt mixed with sage. If you don't like sage, you could leave that out. And actually, it's not a whole tablespoon. It's more like a half of a tablespoon or 2 teaspoons, a teaspoon and a half. And then I have a teaspoon or so of black pepper. So what I'm going to do, I have my skillet on, and got that heating up. What I'm going to do is put about 2 tablespoons or so, maybe a little more, of olive oil in the bottom of the pan, because this is going to be my saute medium. That probably was like 3 tablespoons. And so what I'm going to do first, I have this on medium high, about 5. So what I'm going to do is put my onions and bell peppers in, again, red, green, and yellow. And I'm going to let those saute for just a bit until the onions get translucent. Okay, so we've been letting this saute for about 5 minutes or so. The onions are now looking a bit translucent, and it is super fragrant. So now what I'm going to do is pour in my potatoes. And I am going to saute these around in the bell peppers and onions. And I am going to add my seasonings in. So that's the garlic powder, the pepper, and the sage and sea salt combination. How pretty that is. So your yellow peppers, your red peppers, your green peppers. You can use orange too, or you can leave out the red. Just do green. It's really your preference how you want your dish to look. And I went to the grand opening of that farmer's market. I picked up these really pretty bell peppers, red, yellow, and green. So that's what I am using. And again, I have this on about medium heat on 5. I'm just going to toss this around until I get like a little brown tinge on some of my potatoes. You might need to add a little more olive oil because the potatoes are going to want to soak up some of the oil. Okay, so now that I have this complete or added in, incorporated well, I'm going to take my mushrooms and add my mushrooms in. So they can get some of that nice flavor. Okay, now I enjoy mine smothered, so what I'm going to do is add some spring water. Alright, so I have stirred these and incorporated all the spices nicely. What I'm going to do now is add some spring water. And what I have here is 2 cups. You don't have to use it all if you do not wish. I'm going to put about a cup. A little more. Okay. And stir it around. And then I am going to cover this and let it go. Have my top to my pot here. There you go. And I'm just going to let that work. I'm going to turn this down to 3 because remember I had it on 5. So I'm going to turn it down to 3 and just let it cook. Okay, Okay, in the meantime, I am going to make my batter for my fish. So, I have a cup of unbleached all-purpose flour. I have a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of paprika, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, a teaspoon or so of salt, and a teaspoon or so of black pepper. Why is this not focused? Okay. So I'm gonna just dump those on in.
And just this year, they were talking about, yo, Tell, we want you to come and model for the Heisman Trophy.
Into my flour.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to whisk it in so that it is all in there. Now, I'm going to take, I have 2 tablespoons of chickpea flour and a 1/4 cup of spring water. I'm going to mix these 2 together. And this is going to form the egg for my batter. We're using a chickpea flour egg. And I'm going to mix that in well. Now some lumps to it, kind of smooth them out. And we're going to let this sit for a few minutes to thicken up. Okay, so what we have done again is combined our flour with our spices, made the chickpea egg, and I let it sit. So now what I'm going to do is incorporate that into my flour mixture. And you'll get kind of a clumpy situation. So what you want to do now is you're going to use a cup to a cup and a quarter to a cup and a half of beer. Now you can use any kind of beer. I found these Budweiser 8-ounce cans. I really don't drink beer, so I have little waste. So I'm going to pop one. I know that 8 ounces is a cup. So I'm going to pour it in about a 1/2 cup at a time and stir. This is what it got. I'll put in another 4 ounces or so.
Still stuck on contestant number 1.
And stir. I'm whisking it with my whisk.
You heard from your Vanessa?
You could probably use an immersion blender or whatever you have. Okay, now I got it kind of thick, but I want it a little thinner. So I'm going to pour about another 2 ounces in there. And now I have it somewhat thin enough. Okay, so you want to be able to dip your fish in there without it breaking up and disintegrating on you. Which is another reason why I decided to freeze it so that it has some continuity to it and holds together. So now I have my batter made, and I'm gonna let this sit for a minute while my potatoes finish cooking, because I want everything to be done around the same time.
If I could have that kind of training.
I don't know what is going on with my autofocus, but there you have it. Okay. All right. Okay, I am back, and about 15 minutes have passed, and my potatoes are nice and creamy. The mushrooms are done, all the bell peppers are done, the onions, all of that, and so now I am just letting it sit in the hot pot. Meanwhile, I have my skillet for my fish on, and I'm going to turn that up to about 6 and let it get nice and hot. I want my oil to be right before I try to put my fish, mock fish, in it. So I don't know what is going on with this autofocus, but I swear I hate it, and I'm going to figure it out because it messes me up. So I'll make sure that this is nice and hot. I'm going to let it get to the point where, see, it's not hot yet. I put a drop of water in there and nothing. So I want to make sure that it pops and sizzles when a drop of water is added. Okay, so now I am ready, and as you can hear, the skillet is ready. So I am going to grab my fish sticks out of the freezer, and I am going to grab my batter here, and I have some tongs, so I'm going to put my fish stick in the batter and grab it with the tong and put it in the skillet. And do the same thing for all of them.
I haven't seen him or heard from him in 2 years. When I do, he's with you. I just think somebody needs to explain something to me.
3. Or five, 6, 7, and last one, 8.
Now, Dad saw you with your tail.
This was his lighter.
Of all the things you could have held on to about that man, you would keep the doggone life.
Okay, I had a lot of batter left over, and truth be told, I probably could freeze this, and or I could have halved it or even quartered it when I made it, but I'm not going to save it. I'm just going to dump it and wipe my stove off while those are cooking. And I want to make sure that they are nice and golden on both sides. So I am going to
But we take them in the future, we move forward.
Rinse my tongs off and dry them so that I can flip my fish sticks.
Now you know, and I don't know what you want your crystal when I tell you. So I suggest when you finish what you start. You pause now. You understand what I'm saying, Pete?
Like so.
What do you want from me, Robbie?
Another chance. So once. I want you in my life, Nikki.
Really? And who is Stacy? A friend from underground?
A year before us, Stacey and I were gonna get married. And
All right.
it didn't work out. And then I started seeing you. And I just didn't have a chance to tell you about it.
I'll let those cook up, and then I'm going to place them. When I take them out, I'm going to take and put them on a paper towel to drain. And I have my little rack for draining. I can set that rack on my cookie sheet so that I don't get any oil on the stove eye while it is draining. We'll do it like that.
It's the same thing about you.
You know, Nikki, Brian turned his back on his family. The only family he's ever known
And
was mine. And we said, now you don't make excuses for him. Don't defend him because you can't defend that.
these cook relatively fast.
To judge him.
You just want them to be nice and crunchy on the outside.
Entitled to do that.
Well, he could have handled things a little differently.
Well, you could have handled some things differently yourself. Quit punishing him. He's not as strong as you.
Uh-oh. Be careful that you don't splash yourself with grease. You can go ahead and cut your fire off now. Your eye. And this one has a ricket, and I can, it didn't want to come out right. But that's okay. The messed up ones are the ones that taste the best, right? So, the rest of them came out perfect. And one more. There you go. Let me get these little pieces out. Not going to worry about it though, because I will strain them when I strain the oil to reuse. So these are your beer battered fish sticks and your smothered potato hash, I guess you could call it. I don't know. So I will be back. I'm going to plate and I will be right back. Alright, I am back. I have everything plated up. And so we have our fish sticks. I'm going to move the salad out the way. We have our fish sticks with the trusty garlic bread and the smothered potatoes, along with some vegan tartar sauce that I made, which is just vegan mayonnaise, sweet pickle relish, lemon juice, and I put a skosh of Dijon mustard in there. And then I have my green salad, which is dressed with my homemade ranch, and my elderberry sweet tea, which is elderberry, dandelion, and sarsaparilla. And you know I will be digging into those cupcakes for dessert. So there you have it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you. And until next time, happy eating, happy cooking, happy eating. Enjoy.